10 perennials. 1 April planting decision. A yard that covers itself in color from May straight through October and keeps doing it year after year without you starting over every single spring. These plants spread on their own. They multiply for free. They come back stronger every season. And this window, right now, in April, is the precise biological moment where everything starts. Miss it, and you wait a full year. Welcome to Golden Vault Garden. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do well to subscribe. You don't want to miss what we have in store next week. Let's get into it. Plant 1. Creeping Phlox. Most people have never planted creeping phlox, and almost every single one of them walks past a neighbor's slope in April and stops dead. Picture a waterfall, electric pink, bright white, deep magenta, soft lavender, cascading over a slope, down a wall, along a pathway edge. That's creeping phlox in bloom. And unlike almost every other spring bloomer that gives you 2 weeks and disappears, the foliage stays evergreen. Your garden holds its structure in January. Phlox subulata is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, nearly every gardening region in the continental US. It spreads outward 2 feet or more every season through trailing stems that root wherever they touch soil. No intervention from you. It just moves. Here's what most videos skip. A slope covered in creeping phlox never needs mowing again. Municipalities planted on highway embankments specifically to eliminate erosion and eliminate maintenance permanently. That problem slope you've been fighting with a mower or ignoring completely is this plant's perfect home. Planted in full sun to light shade in well-draining soil. After bloom, shear it back once. That single cut keeps it dense, encourages stronger spread, and prevents it from going woody in the center. Plant 2. Daylily. This plant grows in Alaska. It grows in Florida. It grows in the Arizona desert and in Minnesota frost. If that one fact doesn't tell you everything about how unstoppable it is, nothing will. Hemerocallis, the daylily, is hardy in USDA zones 1 through 11, the entire country. There is virtually no yard in America where this plant won't grow, spread, and perform year after year without a complaint. The color range is staggering. Over 80,000 registered cultivars. Deep burgundy, soft peach, bright orange, pale lemon, vivid red, bicolors that look almost too good to be real. Plant a mix of early, mid-season, and late varieties, and you get continuous bloom from early summer through mid-fall. 1 nursery trip, 4 months of color. Every 4 to 5 years, divide the clump. 1 plant gives you 10 to 15 divisions. At current nursery prices, 1 original daylily eventually produces over $100 worth of free plants from your own yard. That is not gardening, that is compounding. 1 critical warning. Daylilies are acutely toxic to cats, every part of the plant, including the pollen. If cats have access to your garden, skip this one entirely or fence it off. For dog owners, generally safe. Plant 3. Bee balm. If you've never had a hummingbird hover 2 feet from your face while sitting in your own backyard, this is the plant that makes that happen. And once it happens once, you will never garden without bee balm again. Monarda didyma is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9. The flowers are spiky, tubular, and vivid. Blazing red, deep pink, rich purple, bright white. And that tubular structure isn't just beautiful. It's biologically shaped for hummingbird feeding. Their bills fit precisely inside. They come back every day, all season long. Monarchs visit, tiger swallowtails visit, bumblebees work it constantly. 1 planting of bee balm supports more wildlife species than almost anything else on this entire list combined. Something that surprises most people. Bee balm is in the mint family. The leaves brew into a tea that tastes remarkably similar to Earl Grey. You're growing a wildlife garden and a functional kitchen herb in the same plant.
It spreads through underground rhizomes and fills a large space within 2 to 3 seasons. For best results, choose mildew-resistant cultivars. Jacob Klein for deep red, raspberry wine for rich pink.
Plant 4. Black-eyed Susan. Black-eyed Susan grows wild along American roadsides from Maine to Texas. You've driven past it your entire life, and people still pull into garden centers every spring and pay $9 a pot for something nature has been growing for free along every highway in this country for centuries. That stops right now. Rudbeckia fulgida goldsturm is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9. Golden yellow petals radiating from a dark chocolate center that's almost black. The contrast is vivid and electric in a way photographs don't fully capture. Here's what makes it genuinely exceptional. It blooms from July through October. Right when most summer gardens start looking exhausted, goldsturm is just hitting its stride. When your neighbors' gardens are brown in August, yours is still going. It spreads 2 ways. Underground rhizomes push outward each season. Seed heads drop seeds that germinate into new plants the following spring. Leave those seed heads standing through winter. Goldfinches, sparrows, and chickadees feed on them from October through February. You're feeding wildlife through the coldest months of the year at 0 cost. 4 plants in. If you want the full zone-by-zone care guide for everything on this list, the complete plant care handbook is linked below. $27, yours to keep forever. I'm pretty sure you are enjoying this video. Well, if you are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. I would love to see you here again. Let's continue. Plant 5. Yarrow. This plant grows in gravel. It grows in cracked, dry, hardpan. It grows in places where you've already killed 3 other things and walked away in frustration. And then, it blooms for 6 straight months without asking you for a single thing in return. Achillea millefolium is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9. Flat-topped flower clusters in yellow, white, pink, coral, and deep red, depending on cultivar. The foliage is intensely aromatic, which is precisely why deer and rabbits walk right past it. The scent puts them off before they ever get close enough to taste it. Yarrow releases natural compounds into the surrounding soil that actively suppress weed seed germination around it. You're getting a built-in biological weed barrier from the root system itself. No weed fabric, no mulch layer. The plant handles it. And it goes further. Yarrow flowers attract parasitic wasps, lacewings, and hoverflies, insects that prey on aphids, whiteflies, and the soft-bodied pests quietly destroying your other plants all season. While Yarrow blooms, it's running a pest control program you never scheduled and never paid for. Critical care note. Rich, amended soil makes Yarrow floppy and disappointing. Poor, dry, rocky, neglected soil makes it bloom harder and spread more aggressively. Plant it in your worst spot. That is not settling. That is matching the plant to its ideal conditions. Plant 6. Catmint. If deer have eaten your garden 2 years running and you're officially out of patience, this is the conversation you needed before you ever bought another plant. Nepeta X. Fasani Walker's Low is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8. Lavender blue flowers over silvery gray aromatic foliage from late spring through midsummer. It mounds to about 2 feet and cascades naturally over pathway edges and border fronts with 0 training from you. Deer evaluate plants by scent before they attempt to eat them. Catmint's aromatic oils are strong enough to repel deer at the approach stage before contact even happens. Unlike spray repellents that wash off in the first rain and need reapplying every few weeks, this plant is the repellent. Always on, every day, all season, year after year. Cut it back by half immediately after the first bloom flush ends. Wait 3 weeks, it comes back fuller than before and produces a complete second wave of flowers through late summer. 2 full bloom seasons from 1 plant in a single year. Catmint also solves a yield problem most gardeners never connect to it. Dozens of bee species work it all season.
If your vegetable garden isn't producing what it should, you may simply not have enough reliable pollinator plants nearby. Catmint fixes that, while solving your deer problem at the same time. 3 problems, 1 plant.
Plant 7. Garden Phlox. There is one plant on this list you will smell before you see it. Not from a few feet away, from across the yard. Standing near your back door on a still summer evening, you'll catch that fragrance before you even look up to find where it's coming from. Phlox paniculata is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8. Large dome-shaped flower clusters, sometimes 6 inches across, in pink, purple, deep red, pure white, and striking bicolors. It blooms mid to late summer, precisely when the spring flush is finished and your garden needs something to carry it through to fall. On a still evening, that fragrance carries 30 feet from the plant. It fills outdoor seating areas. It comes through open windows into rooms you're not even in. The one thing that gives garden phlox a bad reputation is powdery mildew. The fix is simple. Choose mildew-resistant cultivars. David for pure white. Robert Poor for vibrant purple pink. Plant with adequate air circulation. Water at the base, not overhead. Those 3 decisions give you years of spectacular, fragrant, trouble-free bloom. Cut stems and bring them indoors. Garden phlox in a vase fills an entire room with fragrance for a full week. You're growing a garden showpiece and a florist-quality cut flower in the same plant. Plant 8. Goldenrod. Millions of Americans have blamed this plant for their fall allergies every single year for decades. They are wrong. Completely, scientifically wrong. And that one widespread mistake has kept one of the most beautiful, most ecologically productive native plants in North America out of American home gardens for an entire generation. Today, that changes. Goldenrod blooms at exactly the same time as ragweed. Ragweed is the actual allergy culprit. It produces lightweight, wind-carried pollen that travels through the air into your sinuses. Goldenrod produces heavy, sticky pollen, carried exclusively by insects. It cannot become airborne. It physically cannot enter your sinuses. Goldenrod has never caused a single allergy attack in the history of its existence. It simply bloomed nearby while ragweed did the damage and took the blame. That is one of the greatest cases of mistaken identity in American gardening history. Solidago rugosa fireworks is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9. The name is not an exaggeration. Flower stems arch outward in long, graceful sprays of tiny golden yellow blooms that radiate in every direction, exactly like fireworks frozen mid-explosion. It blooms September through October, right when most perennials have peaked and your garden needs color most before the first frost. Goldenrod supports over 100 species of native bees, butterflies, and beneficial insects. Growing it is one of the most direct, most measurable contributions a home gardener can make to the local ecosystem.
Plant 9. Lamb's Ear. Stachys byzantina is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8. The leaves are covered in a dense layer of soft, silvery white woolly fiber that feels precisely like its name suggests. Lamb's ear. Children stop when they pass it. Adults stop. Visitors who have never gardened a day in their lives reach down without being invited to. It is one of the very few plants that creates a physical sensory memory in the people who encounter it. That memory brings people back to your garden. That memory is what makes your outdoor space genuinely unforgettable. Beyond the texture, and the texture alone would justify planting it, the silver white foliage creates visual contrast against virtually every other color in the garden. It makes purple flowers look deeper. It makes pink flowers softer. It makes red flowers more vivid. Landscape designers use it as a living color amplifier, a foliage plant that makes every plant surrounding it perform better visually. You are not just planting lamb's ear. You are improving every plant you put near it. The silver color isn't pigment. It's the physical density of the hair structure on the leaf surface reflecting light outward.
That same dense fiber dramatically reduces moisture evaporation from the leaf in heat and drought. Lamb's ear isn't drought-tolerant by accident. It's drought-engineered at the cellular level. In zone 6 and warmer, it remains semi-evergreen through winter, providing silver-white ground-level structure when everything around it has gone gray and bare. Plant it as a flowing edge along pathways. It visually unifies a border and makes the whole planting feel intentional and designed, while asking almost nothing from you in return.
Plant 10, New England Aster. Every plant on this list earns its place from spring through summer. This one earns its place in October, when the first cold nights arrive, when everything else is slowing down and browning out, when most gardens have already surrendered to fall. This plant explodes. Symphyotrichum novi anglii is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 8. Daisy-like flowers in deep violet purple, rich lavender, bright pink, and pure white, with golden yellow centers that glow in lower autumn light. The color doesn't wash out in fall the way so many plants do. It deepens. It saturates. It performs in September and October with the same intensity that summer plants perform in June. That is extraordinarily rare. Asters are among the very last reliable nectar sources available to monarch butterflies before they complete their full migration journey to Mexico. Research from Monarch Watch documents New England Aster as a critical late-season fueling station on the eastern and central monarch flyways. Growing asters in your yard is one of the most direct, most concrete contributions a home gardener can make to monarch butterfly survival. In late May, pinch every stem back by half. In late June, pinch back by half again. 2 pinches, that's all. Those 2 cuts create dramatically more branching, dramatically more flower stems, and a dense, compact, self-supporting mound that does not need staking. Gardeners who skip this step get a plant that flops open. Gardeners who do it get a fall spectacle that stops every person who walks past their yard.
So why April? Why not May, when it's warmer, when frost risk is lower, when it feels safer? Because of what happens underground, before you see anything happening above it. In April, soil temperatures across most American growing zones sit between 50 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the precise biological window where perennial root systems establish fastest, develop deepest, and build the anchoring structure they need to survive their first summer. Plant in that window, and roots have 8 to 10 full weeks to establish before peak summer heat arrives. Cool, moist, low-stress development that builds resilience into the plant at its most foundational level. Plant in June or July, and those same roots are trying to establish in hot, dry, stressed soil while simultaneously supporting a plant that's already trying to grow and bloom above ground. The energy splits. The establishment slows. The plant survives, but it doesn't thrive that first season. First season establishment determines everything about long-term performance. Every plant you put in the ground this April will spread further, bloom more profusely, and establish more permanently than the identical plant put in 6 weeks from now. April isn't a preference. It's a biological window with a closing date, and that window is open right now. Before you close this video, drop a comment and tell me which plant from this list you're putting in the ground first, and what state or zone you're gardening in. I read every single comment. Subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already. Next week goes just as deep, and the week after that. This is your garden. This is your season. April is open right now. Go plant something.